Well, when I first started wrestling, it was just Harley Race, and there was no name hung to it at all. And then a little later on, the handsome part came in, and that came out of Japan. I was doing an interview with some Japanese press, and I guess I was ignoring this one guy, and he finally hollered at me, "Hey, handsome." And that sounded fairly decent, so I went along with that and was Handsome Harley Race for a number of years. And when I went to the WWF, they had the first King of the Ring, and I won it, wrestling 6 times that night. I became known as the King Harley Race. I started with Gus Karras wrestling on a carnival, taking on all comers throughout the Midwest. You go into an area and they'd each little area had their own little bully. So, to make a long story short, if you beat the bully, you got paid, and if you didn't, you didn't. So that's how I kind of got started in this business. Well, there isn't a title from middle 60s through the ending of wrestling before the WWF took it over, a title that I don't think I have not held. What makes a wrestler a great opponent? I suppose someone that can go in the ring and stay with you move for move and be able to execute those moves without dropping somebody directly on their head and really hurting them. Just the ability to go in the ring with any human being and come out of there having a great match. I guess everyone refers to me as the man that opened wrestling up to the new era. I could take falls from just about anywhere. I could also wrestle on the mat. I was what you call all-inclusive. At one point in time, I don't think there was anything that I couldn't do in the ring. I had a lot of moves in the ring that the guys are still using today. All of the suplexes, starting with the stand-up to the around the arm, around the body. Suplexes were my thing, and that's, they're still using them today. A suplex is being able to take your opponent in any direction, whether it be straight up and over your head, around the body, and bringing him back over. Double arm, where you hook both arms and bring him straight back over. There's different versions of suplexes, but I came up with most of them, and they're still using them today. I had a bunch of the guys at my home in Kansas City, and I had spent the afternoon fixing chili for them to eat that night. Owen Hart came into the house that evening and had decided that he'd have some chili, but he wanted to have some fun with the other guys. So I have a sauce called Insanity sauce. And he had taken his out, and then he took the Insanity and he shook a whole lot of it into the label that the rest of the guys were going to be scooping theirs, thinking he was going to get Mankind or Cactus Jack or Mick Foley, however you want to call him, not knowing that Cactus was going to take the label and stir the chili before he dipped it. So he got everybody in the building, or everybody at our home. The following night, he was in the locker room in Topeka, Kansas, and I walked in with a 250,000 volt stunt gun. And he's standing there stark naked. So his back was turned to me, so I inserted the stunt gun between the cheeks of his behind and squeezed it off, and 250,000 volts went through him, and all he did was just stood there and, kind of did one of those numbers until I quit electrocuted him. I hope to be remembered as one of the better wrestlers in the world. I could have a match in that ring with just about anybody, and to be able to be remembered by your peers as one of the best is the main thing.
It makes absolutely no difference to me who I walk out to that ring tonight to beat, because beat you I will. I am the legend of wrestling. You talk about great? This is great. You talk about the best? This is the best. You talk about the absolute epitome of wrestling. You're looking at him.